Hello and good afternoon from London. My previous videos have generated a number of questions about my Fractal Design North. So this video is aimed at addressing those questions, but also giving everyone a bit of a tour of my PC and some of the changes that I've made. So we will be jumping from one topic to another. It will be a little bit waffly. It will be a lot of waffle because it's completely unscripted and it's one take. So consider it a little bit of a tour. I've just had this for lunch. I love these, like 10p. And yeah, I love a nice curry. So let's get straight to the PC. The first thing we should start off with is the stand. That is actually a monitor stand. And I was originally looking for one that's like plexiglass, see-through and acrylic, but then I came across this one on eBay and it was £12, and I looked at the wood and I thought, wow, that would look really good here. But let me be honest, I didn't want another wooden item in my lounge, but for the price I just clicked buy and it was here within 2 days. And sometimes in life you have to be a bit of a masochist and go for some things. If you like wood, just buy a lot of stuff, and people might think that I've got too much wood, but that's it. It's a monitor stand. You can find plenty of them online in different colors. This one is quite sturdy because I expected these legs to be made out of plastic, but they're actually made out of wood. And you can see at the back there is a bit of clearance as well. So it really fits the PC like a glove. And speaking of gloves, I've got one here, because you can see that this PC is pretty dusty. It's been a bit neglected over the past few weeks because I've been busy. So let me just try to put this on. Shaky camera, I'm sorry. So you do that and there we go. Oh, look how shiny that is. I should actually do this a lot more often. And up here as well, the other side. And move that little thing that we're going to speak about as well. That looks a lot better, but I should really do the same thing for the TV. That works, but doesn't work that well on the soundbar. I think I need to use a Hoover for that. But that's a little bit of dusting and housekeeping. This is my beautiful setup, LG C1 55-inch, Samsung soundbar with rear speakers. It has 3 HDMI inputs, and I have inputs on the TV as well. And the Xbox support DTS Master Audio. So does this, Atmos, Dolby Digital, DTS-X, like any format is literally supported here. So I'm really happy about that. And this is where I game. I exclusively use the PC for gaming, no productivity at all. And I have a lot of my controllers here, switch controllers, USB extension cords. Yes, so I keep everything tucked in there. And right behind there, I have my TCA Airbus Thrustmaster. Sorry, it's a really long name. So yeah, everything's stored away neatly. So when I'm not gaming, you can see that the clutter is minimal and most of what you see is really the PC, which is stunning. So the next thing to do is to open up the PC. And what I like about it is that it's quite easy to work on. So you have these thumb screws. And even if you screw them out all the way, they don't actually pop out. And then there is another one down there. Let me zoom in so that you can see my fingers there. Oh, my fingers are a little bit dry. I need to moisturize. I'm doing all of this one-handed. Again, it's a scrappy video, trying to keep it real. It's one-handed, and I'm just gonna dump this there. And ta-da! There is my PC. So I'm gonna hold the camera there for a couple of seconds because I get annoyed by videos where the YouTuber shows something off, but they change the camera angle every few seconds. So let's just jump to the main thing, which is my AIO. It's an Arctic Freezer 3. 360 degrees, no, not 360 degrees, 360 millimeters. Oh my God, I can't speak. So it's been front mounted because at the top you can only fit a 280 millimeter AIO. So the only way to fit a 360 millimeter one is basically at the front in this case. If you want to fit one at the top, you will need to buy the Fractal Design North XL. So this is just the normal size. And my GPU is a 4070 Ti Super Slim by MSI. And in terms of the space that's available, I think the gap is probably like a finger or barely a thumb. So this AIO takes up quite a bit of space. The GPU is 307 millimeters. So there's only probably 3 millimeters left. So this is quite an important thing, because if you buy this case, have an AIO like this, you need to be mindful if you're planning to buy like a 5080 or 5090, because a lot of them are like 320 or even 340. So they would take up like the whole length of this case, which is absolutely bonkers. The only exception is if you manage to find an NVIDIA Foundation edition, not Foundation, Founders edition, but they are very expensive and difficult to get hold of. But they do fit in here. I know that with the 5070 Ti, there is a slim version as well. That's 304 millimeters, so that will fit in here. But that is something to bear in mind, so forward plan as much as possible. And I have a GPU stand, it sits there, so it's quite discreet. This GPU actually comes with a stand, but it's quite tacky, so I didn't want to use this. But as far as the AIO go, you can see the pipes are at the top, and it goes all the way there, and it just about touches, it actually scrapes on this fan. So therefore I don't actually have this fan switched on. I just have it there for RGB. So the only fan that is working at the top is that one, and that's an exhaust one, and I have an exhaust one at the back as well. And the fans at the front, they suck in air, so I can just pull this open. So like I said, this PC is so easy to work on. So I've upgraded the front fans. Sorry, my alarm rang and disrupted the video. These are thermal right fans that I've upgraded my AIO with. I've done a separate video about them, so please have a look. And the upgrade is well worth it. You will not believe how quiet my whole AIO is. Like if someone messages me and say, hey, here's a new AIO, would you like to test it? I'm like, nope, I'm not touching it, because like the pump, the radiator, all of this is super quiet. I've been really lucky, because buying an AIO can be a little bit of a lottery. So 3 people might buy the same AIO from the same brand. One of them has pump noises, the other one complains about noise. Next thing to talk about are these cables. I purchased them from eBay. I found someone that was selling a bag of purple ones. I have actually an identical set, except that it's black, purple. They came in the same kit, and a couple of other cables, all for £11. And I love purple as an accent. It's quite sophisticated and it pops. And these are beautiful. So they are being used as extension cables for the ones that goes out of my power supply unit that doesn't have like modular cables. So yeah, so if I'm not probably going to pull this out. I don't want to mess anything up, but you can see like visually it makes such a big difference. Like it makes your computer look all YouTubey and fancy, etc. So I highly recommend a cable like these, and they're easy to swap out as well. So if I ever want a different color scheme, I can swap them out as well. And then I have this little figure. I don't remember what it's actually from, some anime character, but nice and small. It fits there nicely. Maybe you can even surf down the cables. Woo! So there it goes. And about my RAM, I have a bit of a dirty secret, and that is these RAM slots. Yes, I have mixed RAM. I purchased the PC with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's the RGB Corsair ones. But then as I started playing like modded Microsoft Flight Simulator, especially flying the A380 airplane, like the biggest one in the world, that's in the game is 15 gigabytes. So I think I put that in, I loaded the game at ultra, and it just crashed. So that's why I decided to upgrade RAM. And then on eBay, I found 32 gigabyte Corsair slots. These are non-RGB ones. I bought non-RGB ones because the RGB software is absolutely rubbish. It doesn't load sometimes, it doesn't work. So yeah, I'm probably not going to buy RGB RAM again. You usually shouldn't mix RAM because it would mess up your system. You might have like tearing or gaming crashes, or there might be some instability. But I took the plunge anyway. And with these ones here, they are actually identical inside. And it's not only about looking at the at the actual part number, but you need to understand what's inside them. So in this case, I looked up in Windows, and the RAM slots happen to have matching silicon that's made by Micron Technology. So, because you have the brand on the outside like Corsair, etc., but they don't actually make the RAM modules that are inside. Like they buy them from somewhere else. A little bit like if you buy a Panasonic TV, like the panel might be made by Samsung or LG, but in this case they match. The speed matches and everything, and the 16 gigabyte RAM, it's 8 in each of those. And in one of these that I recently bought, it's actually 2 sets of 8 in there. So one of these basically contain whatever is in there, and it all matches. It did take a little bit of work to get it to be absolutely flawless. I had to switch off like XMP first, because initially I just put in all the new RAM, but then like the screen didn't really come on. So then I had to take them back out and then keep the original ones in, switch off XMP, and then I think enable XMP one by one, etc. So there was like, a little bit of work, but then now it's fully stable, and I got 48 gigabytes of RAM, which is a lot better than buying 64 gigabytes, which was a bit of, quite expensive. I saw some for £60 or £70, and I didn't want to spend that amount of money, especially if it meant having to sell my original ones. Because yeah, if I bought 64, I would not want to mix them with the existing ones. So that's the RAM. And then up here, we have a capybara. This is like a night light for kind of vibes. I have an electric candle light there as well. It's a lot brighter in the dark. And I have a Raspberry Pi case that my girlfriend bought me for my birthday. It's amazing. It even has a glass panel inside, because you do get like a matching black one, but then inside there is a glass panel if I want to make it look identical to my actual PC. I'm not going to buy a Raspberry Pi for inside it yet, because they are a little bit weak. Maybe I'll buy something in 1 or 2 years that's a bit more powerful. But the quality of this is insane. And this is like 3D printed in someone's home. It's my first ever 3D printed item, and the quality is actually better than the things that you would find in the shop. Absolutely unbelievable. But it's cute, so I just keep it up there. And it's fantastic, really complimentary. Let me put this back on. Put it there, slot it up, and there it goes. I really love that. Such a practical PC, and it can also be touched without breaking. As you can see, there's hardly any visible scratches, so it's not a prima donna that's kind of arty-farty, but it's not practical, or it's very sensitive to scratches. It's a really durable one. And this brings me to fans. Thermal take, I always get confused. Thermal right, thermal take, thermal right exhaust fan. RGB ones, I use the software on the motherboard, which is really reliable. I love this motherboard. I think it's the B550. And yeah, there's a couple of heat sinks there and at the top as well. So that's something to watch out for if you buy a motherboard, because some of the heat sinks are so big that you might struggle to fit some fans at the top. Yeah, so 2 exhaust fans, and that's kind of enough. That's sort of what the PC is like right now. I might make it a tiny bit dark to switch it on so that you can see what the light and RGB is like. This is what the PC looks like with a bit of RGB switched on. It's not that easy to film with this phone because everything is a bit overexposed. You can see that the motherboard has some RGB itself. Is now set to red. There's a bit of red there as well, and at the top it can all be changed to different colors, which is nice to have a little bit of RGB accents built into the motherboard. Yeah, and then I can switch on the capybara and it glows nicely. But that's it. Got nothing more to share. I hope that this has been a helpful video for those who want to know more about my build and are curious about what I've done with my Fractal North Case. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much. Bye bye.